Journey with Judy.
Honest, open, transparent. It's hot.
There's no such thing as perfect people. There's no such thing as a perfect life. So come as you are, broken and scarred. Lift up your heart and be amazed and be changed by a perfect God.
Good morning. You are listening to Journey with Judy, and this is the first time I started the show without bawling my eyes out. However, I'm like totally jacked for some reason today. Okay. Have you ever gotten an invitation that you hesitated responding to? My daughter Campbell, who is 10, was invited to a party, and she was uncertain for weeks since she got the invitation about if she should go. She's just totally hesitant, and she wanted to know who was going. How long would she have to be there? How long would it take to get there? And the big thing was, would it be worth it? So we interviewed some people. We talked to her coach because it was a volleyball party. We talked to her coach. We talked to other parents. We talked to other kids. And the theme was consistent. It wouldn't be the same without her, that she would absolutely be missing out because they would clearly be talking about it for weeks after, and she would feel excluded. So the good news was she decided to go. So here's what we did. Remember I told you I got a GPS? Well, we plugged in the address, got in the car, and went. We had no idea where we were going. We had never been there before. We just knew that it was about an hour away because that's what the GPS said. I can tell you when we got in the car, Campbell was excited. I asked her strongest feeling, and she said excited. A little while into the journey, it was evident that her disposition was changing. I think the uncertainty set in. The question about if it would be worth it kind of permeated the atmosphere. And I can't tell you how many times she said, "Are we there yet?" Here's what I dig about the GPS, though. All we had to do is keep our eyes fixed on the road instead of all the papers with the MapQuest we used to do. We had to focus on the next direction. And we absolutely had to have faith that it was going to take us to where it said we were going. And I'm just digging that whole GPS thing. It's so new to me. So I just love it. Are we there yet? In this instance, I could turn and say to her, baby, we'll be there in however many minutes the GPS said. But I got to tell you about 3 very wise guys who had to be asking, are we there yet? And although they did not have a GPS, they had God's protective system. Let's talk about that when we get back. You are listening to Journey with Judy on Lake 96.1. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back. Thank you for choosing to Journey with Judy, and I am Judy. And we are talking today about 3 wise guys, 3 super wise guys. Those are your wise men. Those are the 3 dudes you put in your manger before you put Jesus in there on Christmas Day. And these really wise guys were mentioned 44 times in the Bible. They were referred to as magi in some instances, kings, astrologers. How many were there? You think 3, but that's undetermined. We really don't know how many wise guys there really were. But here's what we know. We know that they had an invitation by King Herod, just like my daughter had an invitation, to go to a party that they maybe were uncertain about who was going to be there, how long it was going to take, and how long they'd have to stay. But here's what they did. The star appeared in the sky after Jesus was born, and they followed that star. No GPS then. They just got on a camel and went. And I don't know if you ever traveled with anybody, but I got to tell you, you really learn a lot about someone when you travel with them. And I'm wondering what these dudes were thinking. And I'm wondering how far you would have traveled unless you really knew it would be worth it. In this case, these guys, They traveled for anywhere from 18 months to 2 years, seeking this baby that they thought was the king. Today we celebrate the Epiphany. An epiphany, by definition, is a sudden realization or a comprehension, a manifestation of something previously hidden. It means to show or to make known. I have to tell you, for much of my life, I looked at things through a distorted, demented, disoriented lens. And it is only through the realization of God in my life that the focus has been adjusted and things have been revealed that at one time would never be comprehended by me. These three wise guys, I don't know if they expected the unexpected, but I know they were fixed on a star, they were focused on their journey, and they absolutely had to have faith in the destination. How many times are you looking for something in your own home? You lost your keys, you lost your glasses. Like, how long do you look before you just give up? How long would you look if you were uncertain that you'd even find it? And I got to tell you, anybody who knows me, when I get invited to somewhere, I always say I'm a definite maybe. That's the best commitment you get from me. And here's the other thing. I come to your house, if I do decide to come, with 6 people bearing no gifts. Usually we come totally empty-handed, and we're looking for fellowship and food, and we usually leave with a to-go bag. So I'm so not like these 3 wise guys, because they brought him gifts. They brought him gold to represent that he was the king, frankincense to recognize that he was God, and myrrh, which was the forecast of his death on the cross. I want you to imagine your manger scene if these guys gave up. It would be pretty lame. And how about when they arrived? Do you know the first thing they said? They weren't like me. Here's what I say when I get to your house. I got to go. It's the first thing I say. I say it about 100 times when I'm there. These guys, they dropped to their knees and worshiped God and said, where is he? They didn't complain about the trip, how long it took to get there, that they had to carry like these gifts on a camel. They just said, where is he? Because we want to do him homage. These guys had to go through seasons of their lives in this 2-year period. And I understand biblically timing isn't the same, but just go with me here and tell me how many times we judge our life on a season, or we judge a person on a season. These guys went through seasons together. We can't judge the journey or the company of one season. Consider the perspective they had to have, and we know that perspective is everything. And here's what I know, that people in darkness, people who walk in darkness like me, we just adjust our eyes. Not these 3 wise guys. Even in the dark, they saw the light. I'd be curious to talk to them and ask them what they saw, because I know for a fact that all 3 of them would report something entirely different. And it would be based on the season of life they were in when they got there. Because we see things as we are and not as they are. And these guys, they weren't watchmen. They were warriors, big-time warriors that sought the Lord while he could be found. That's our verse today. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. How near is he? He's right there. These guys had to have wars in their mind and battles in their heart as they journeyed, fixed on a star, focused on the journey, but having faith in the destination. They chose to be on the front lines and not the sidelines. And something told them they were made for more than this. And I love that they totally got that the only way to stand was to be on your knees with lifted hands. I guess they grasped that concept that all journeys had a secret destination of which a traveler is unaware. And in this case, we say it's the journey, not the destination. I don't know. Maybe it's a both and for these three wise guys, because they were being prepared for that period of time, for what it is that they were going to see. They came to see a king. How did they know that? And what do you do when the star seems so far? We got to go to break. You are listening to Journey with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. And thank you to the Cunis Country Auto Group for sponsoring our show. We'll be back. Welcome back. You're listening to Journey with Judy. And what do you do when the star seems so far? You seek the Lord while he may be found, and you call upon him while he is near. Because we know, just like these guys knew, that the promise wasn't denied, it was delayed. Wise men still seek him. One of the important parts of this journey was not that they bowed down in worship, not that they brought him gifts, but the most profound statement for me in that Christmas story is that they departed a different way. They went home different. Because it's impossible to encounter Jesus and not be different. So the GPS may not have helped them anyway, because they were going home a different way regardless. So what do you do when the star's so far? You do what they did. You commit. You have courage. And you have confidence in all seasons of your life. Because we know when we have happiness, it causes us to be sweet. And the times of sorrow just make us human. And when we fail, it keeps us humble. We get a little success, we can just keep growing. But if we want to have an epiphany, we want to see things that were not previously known to us, we've got to be willing to expand the vision. When we seek him in all seasons. Because life can take you to a place that's not on any map. But if you are walking in the right direction, or riding a camel in this case, you just keep doing it. You just keep walking. Because every revelation is an invitation to adjust our lives to what we have seen. And these guys' lives were different. No doubt about it. The epiphany was just simply the manifestation of God in their life. Then, now, and forever. And if we allow that epiphany to be manifest in our lives, it's both terrifying while it's relieving. Because we can finally say, I give up. I'm dropping to my knees because the only way I can stand is on my knees with my hands lifted. And I want to get fixed, I want to stay focused, and I want to have faith in my destination. Because we know with these guys that the impossible was made possible. That God has revealed his unlimited love and mercy through his Son to anybody who seeks him. Are we seeking him while he may be found? Do you remember that book, Find Waldo? Where's Waldo? It's Where's Waldo. Okay, well, I have one that says, Where's Jesus? I know that will surprise you. But nonetheless, it's the same concept. You open the book, and somewhere in those pages is Waldo, or in my case, Jesus. And one day I handed my son the book. He looked for a while, and he closed the book. And I said, buddy, what's the purpose of the book? And he said, the purpose is to look for Jesus. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's easy. But he is always there. Because when we seek him, we never seek him in vain. I'm convinced that these wise guys had to say 100 times over, are we there yet? Have we arrived? When will we get there? Will it be worth it? Because the destination sets the tone for travel. And they were going to see the king. And that's where we're supposed to be going. You got to go looking. You got to follow the light. Seek him as in days of old, to give him your heart, which is way more than gold. Way. I love this verse in Scripture. It says, I, wisdom, am with you. I am a light that never grows dim. Seek me, you will find me. At the slightest indication of your desire for me, I will make myself known to you. All that says is if you take one step, he takes two. But unlike maybe other people in your life taking two in the other direction, God's taking two to you. Two towards you. I want to commit. I want to have courage. And I want to watch confidently. I want to be a warrior. I want to be on the front lines. I want to know that he will reveal himself to me about what I'm supposed to do next. Dave says, next, I got to go to break. So I'll be back. You are listening to Journey with Judy on Lake 96.1. Welcome back. You are journeying with Judy this morning. Wise men still seek him. The question of the day is, are we there yet? If you are seeking, then you're on your way. I want to aspire to inspire before I expire. That's what these three wise guys did. And as we celebrate today, these three wise guys and God's manifestation of his love for us through his son, we got to remember that they, like you, played an important role in the greatest story of all time. It is urgent that you act. Because if you don't, the story isn't right. It isn't what it's supposed to be. Your presence will be missed. You will miss out. It will absolutely be worth it. And we have got to be willing to go where we've never been. To get something or see something or become something we never thought we could, that we would, or that we should. I want to be a warrior. I want to be willing. And somehow in all that, I know that I am not worthy. But he says, if I seek him, he will make himself known to me. And if I call upon him, it'll never be in vain. Thank you for choosing to journey with me this morning. It has been my privilege to be with you. The start of the new year. How your resolutions going? Have you all quit? Because 75% of you gave up last week. Stay with it. seeking, by definition, is just to discover. It's just an attempt to find. And if you want to find some old shows or some funny pictures of me or some stuff, you can go to my website, judyhehr.com. Hehr. Or like me on Facebook. I'm very insecure. I only have 246 people who like me. So, plug me a little bit. Don't make me feel like I'm doing this alone. These guys would never have done this for 2 years without one another. I need you. Probably way more than you need me. We got to be done. Thank you for listening to Journey with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. This week, keep it hot as you are seeking. Honest, open, and transparent. Stay tuned for Life Matters with Nancy and Faith next. Peace out.